Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. Many years ago, the governor of Australia was out for a walk beside a lake, and he saw one of the original inhabitants of Australia, the Aborigines as they called them. He saw one of them spearing an animal, catching an animal out of the water. And when the guy brought this animal up on his spear, the governor looked at it and thought, what is that? Because he had never seen anything like it before. And so he actually got the dead body of this animal, bought it off the guy, and he shipped it back to England so that scientists could examine it, because he was convinced they'd never seen anything like this before either. And in fact, whenever the top scientists and the top biologists examined this animal, they actually thought it was a hoax. They said that, because sometimes people would get bits of different animals and stitch them together and pretend it was a new kind of animal. They said, this is a hoax. This cannot be a real animal. But it was, because they had just discovered the duck-billed platypus. Now, the duck-billed platypus, it lives in Australia, and platypuses, now I had to look that up because I wasn't quite sure what the plural of platypus was. I thought it might be platypi, but because a Latin word that ends US the plural would end in an I, but it's not. It doesn't come from Latin, it comes from the Greek. Platypus comes from the Greek meaning flat-footed. And so duck-billed platypuses literally are flat-footed animals with a beak like a duck. And it's the most incredible animal because it's a mammal. As a mammal, it produces milk. It's got hair. It produces milk to feed, but it also lays eggs as well. So it both produces milk and it produces eggs, which, as the comedian Ricky Gervais has said, if it wanted to, it could make custard. Now, not only is it a mammal with hair, and yet it lays eggs, and that's weird, but also it's venomous as well. It has poisonous spurs on its hind legs that it can jab you with and inject poison into your body, which normally, that's the kind of thing an insect might do, or maybe a reptile or an amphibian, but a mammal, that's unheard of. Also, the duck-billed platypus, it eats small creatures in the animal, such as insect larvae and small shrimps and crayfish and stuff like that. The way that it locates its prey is not with its eyes. When it swims underwater, it closes its eyes and it generates an electric field out of its duck's bill, that with this electric field, it can sense where these little animals are in the water and gobble them up. And not only that, if you take a duck-billed platypus and put it under an ultraviolet light, its fur glows like a blue-green glow on it. And scientists have sort of speculated that certain birds and certain large catfish, very large catfish that could eat a duck-billed platypus, they can actually see with ultraviolet light, and so this would just confuse them whenever this thing's glowing blue and green, and they reckon it's a defense mechanism. Also, the duck-billed platypus, most animals have we have chromosomes, and we have two sex chromosomes, X and Y, and depending on your X or Y, obviously that what makes you male and female. Nearly all mammals have two sex chromosomes, but the duck-billed platypus has 12 of them. So it's absolutely unlike anything else. It doesn't seem to be in any way related to any other animal. Scientists just scratch their head. They don't see what it could have evolved from or anything else, but we know that God created it. God created the duck-billed platypus. Why? Because God is such a creative God. And I can just imagine when God created that animal and put it in the earth, he thought, wow, I can't wait till people find this thing. This is going to blow their minds. I love the diversity that God has made in our world. We think we've got it all figured out, and then just God does something else that just totally surprises us. That's true in creation, and it's true in every other area of our lives as well. And I pray that today, you might think it's just another day. You might think you might think everything's just going to go as normal. You've got it all figured out what life is like. I just pray God will do something fresh. God will do something amazing. God will do something that just rocks you back in your heels and say, wow, Lord, I wasn't expecting that. What a blessing. What a creative God you are. May God bless you and surprise you today with his creativity in Jesus' name. And I'd invite you to join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.